Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Marlene and I talk about everything related to healing the relationship with your own body, with food and with movement. And today we're going to talk about a super important topic, which is dating in eating disorders and dating in recovery. And there's so many things to it. So first of all, let me just say, whatever you choose to do, of course, it is right. I know a lot of people who don't want to date when they're in their eating disorder or also in their recovery, and we're going to talk about the reasons for that in a few minutes. But I also want you to know, if you are currently dating someone, if you have a partner maybe, or if you get the desire to get out of there and get to know more people, that is perfectly fine as well. There is no right or wrong, but we're just going to talk about a few things, a few red flags, a few green flags. And so I hope to make this topic a little bit less stressful for you guys, because it was definitely very stressful for me. I mentioned it before, when I was developing my eating disorder, I actually had a boyfriend who eventually broke up with me when my eating disorder became very bad. And of course that was heartbreaking for me, and for a while I actually wanted to recover for him, because I always thought he would come back once I recover, when I show him I can do it. And that didn't work out, because I wasn't doing it for myself, I was doing it for him. And yes, I gained weight and I was getting a little bit better, but he didn't come back. And so I kind of relapsed, and after that I had my eating disorder for nearly 10 years. And in that time I didn't really date a lot. I did see some people here and there, but I was very, very afraid of intimate interactions. I was very afraid of actually being emotionally intimate, because I had created this life around my eating disorder. Literally everything that I was doing, every decision I made was based on my eating disorder. If I said yes or no to a trip, to a party, to a hangout, it was all based on my eating disorder. Would there be food? Would I have enough time to move before or afterwards? All these kind of things. If somebody asked me to go for a walk, I would always say yes. If somebody would ask me to hang out 6 hours at the house, I would probably come up with an excuse, because I had to get my steps in. And so that made it very, very hard for me to actually see someone, because when you're seeing someone, you want to spend quality time with them, and you also want to be able to fully concentrate on the person and be fully present, which is something a lot of people with eating disorders actually struggle with, myself included. I really struggled to have conversations and to be fully present with my friends. I was able to do that, but never for a long time, because the thoughts of, what am I going to eat tonight? How am I going to get my steps in? Will the supermarket still be open? Will I get my salad? All these kind of things were constantly in my head. So it made it very, very hard for me to actually concentrate on having deep conversations. As you guys know, I now have a boyfriend, and we hang out a lot and we spend a lot of quality time together. We have a lot of amazing conversations, and I never even have a single thought around these things. There were so many days where we would just hang out at the house, maybe walking the dog, or some days I wouldn't even walk at all, and I'm more than fine with that. So it is amazing for me to see the contrast and to see, oh my God, this is what it's supposed to be like. I can be fully present. I enjoy being with him. I would way rather always hang out with him than to go for a walk, honestly, because I really enjoy being with him. And so this is such a big difference. And again, this is how it should be. So this is the case for a lot of people. Another reason why dating in an eating disorder can be very hard is, of course, because we all have or had our behaviors, and we often feel ashamed for them. When I was in the depth of my eating disorder, I had a bunch of behaviors, and I was always trying to hide them from my friends or from people around me, because I knew that they were not normal. I knew it was normal to weigh every single food. I knew it was normal to write down all my calories or to walk so many steps a day. So I kind of always tried to hide them, even though, of course, my friends are not stupid, my family is not stupid. So of course they knew what I was doing. But I didn't want to be in a relationship and be in that situation where I'm either ashamed because my partner will see all those habits, or I will lie to them constantly. And another reason is also, I guess I kind of knew, when I have a partner who really cares about me, he wants me to be okay. He wants me to be healthy. So he would probably try to push me in a healthy direction, which is something I didn't want for a very long time, because I didn't really want to recover for a very long time. Another topic that I will make a video about soon as well. I did date a few people in those 10 years that I was sick, and it never really became a a close, a serious relationship. I was seeing someone for over a year, but we would never really hang out during the day. I had met some of his friends, he met some of my friends, but we never met each other's families. We never were like exclusive or talked about being a couple, anything like this. It was still super superficial, which is something that we see a lot in relationships of people who have eating disorders. Sometimes even their relationships with their friends or families become more superficial just because they don't have the energy to have deep relationships. So that was something that I definitely experienced. And while there's nothing wrong with it, it was honestly not what I was looking for. I was actually deep down, I wanted to want a relationship. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. There was a big part of me that really didn't want a relationship because I wasn't, as I just said, I was mentally in a place, and also my hormones were way out of whack. I wasn't eating enough, and so, your body kind of slows down and concentrates on other things. Your body doesn't concentrate on finding a partner and maybe even, being able to become pregnant. All those things weren't even in the picture for me. So I didn't really have the desire to have a partner, but a part of me wanted to have the desire to have a partner. And that is the part that actually wanted to have a partner. And that was like, well, if you wouldn't be so afraid, maybe you could find a partner. But I definitely was afraid, and I was definitely in my own little eating disorder world. And I am so freaking grateful that I escaped this world and that I am now in a world where I connect with people and have deep friendships, which I had before, and have a partner and don't think about all those things again. It's like my life literally changed so much. I never ever thought that my life would change so much, that I would be able to change so much. And I'm so grateful for it. And I know that it is possible for you too. Now I want to move on and talk about dating in recovery, because for a lot of people, recovery also means changes in their body. Of course, that's not the case for everyone, and every recovery is worth the same, and no one has it like easier or worse. I just want to point this out. But recovery comes with a lot of struggles, with a lot of issues. It is very tiring. It is very exhausting. So this is also a state where a lot of people don't really want to date because they are so exhausted from fighting their eating disorder already that they just don't have the capacities to see someone. Another reason might also be, and that was the case for me, I was actually so moody in my recovery. I was like, every single reflection would like create a certain feeling in me. And if I would like my reflection, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good day. But if I looked into the window or into the mirror and saw my reflection and didn't like it, I would be in a bad mood. And I just didn't want to put anyone else through it, especially not a partner. And then there's also, of course, the thing of your changing body and the fear of being intimate, because of course that is a big part of relationships. So when my body was changing, I was so afraid of never being attracted for anyone again. And I was very aware that my body before was also not really the beauty standard, and hopefully not very attractive to people, because it was definitely not healthy. So I really hope it wasn't attractive to men. But I also was caught up in my black and white thinking. So I was like, okay, before I wasn't attractive, but now I'm not attractive either. So it was kind of like I couldn't really, get to the point where I actually accepted myself, where I'm at now. But during my recovery, that was something that was very hard for me. So I was kind of hesitant. But over time, I started to, get to know new people. I wasn't even looking for dates or anything like this. And some of the men actually started to be interested in me. That was such a weird feeling, because first of all, I was like, how can anyone be interested in me when I look like this? But on the other hand, it was also a very nice feeling, because I was like, oh, maybe I don't look as bad as I think I do, which also has to do with body dysmorphia, which I made another video about. And this is actually something that did change my recovery a little bit. And please don't get me wrong, you definitely don't have to see someone, and please don't ever base your self-worth on somebody else. This might actually have been a mistake. It was helpful for me to, notice that people find me more attractive again, that people are interested in going out with me, but I also based my self-worth a lot on it. So if I found someone attractive and they weren't really interested, it would give me a bummer. Or I would also start to go on a lot of dates just to get this feeling of, oh, somebody likes me. I might be a little bit more attractive than I think. And again, this is something that might not be the healthiest way. And I wish back then I would have learned to base my self-worth on myself, which I actually did later in recovery. There came a time where I was like, okay, I'm not going to date for a while, because I just really want to be in tune with myself. And I really want to start to accept myself the way I am. and not base my self-worth on anyone else. But in my early recovery, I actually did date a lot. I started seeing people. I actually got into, I guess you would call it a situationship. It was not really a serious relationship, but it was also like more than friends. And it was definitely helpful for me, but it also, like, whenever I noticed my body changing, whether it was due to, gaining weight, overshoot weight, due to losing a little bit of weight naturally, because my body was definitely fluctuating back then already, I was very hesitant, and I was like, oh, they're gonna notice, everything will change. Little disclaimer here, nobody will notice any changes as much as you do. You are so self-conscious about your body, and unfortunately we always notice the changes that we demonize or that we see as bad, even though we should just watch them objectively. Because gaining weight is not a bad thing. It's not a crime, nothing to be ashamed of. If your body gains weight by eating, then that is the weight that your body needs to gain. So it's actually a good thing. But coming out of a restrictive eating disorder, that can be very, very hard to see like this. And so we often demonize it and we think, oh my God, I gained weight, so that must be unattractive. When the other person doesn't even notice it or might even find it attractive. So all those things combined might show you why you might be hesitant to date, or why dating might not be the right thing for you now, or maybe also why you want to date. I do know a lot of people who have or had an eating disorder and who have a partner that was or is super supportive, that would never make them feel bad, and that would even help them with like fear food challenges or like eating out. So this can also be super helpful, because if you have a partner, you want to be a team. And if you're a team, you're gonna work on those things together. So for some people, it is also super helpful to be with someone who has a normal reaction around food, eats more food, or who eats normally, because it can be super helpful to be with someone who just, eats whatever they want to. It can be very freeing. So it's not always a bad thing to date or to have a partner. It can be very helpful. But it's also more than okay if you want to take this time for yourself and decide to concentrate on yourself for now and maybe start dating a little bit later. And you don't even have to think about dating. I'm not saying that dating should be the main big thing in your head, or that you always have to think about dating. If you want to date later, then you will come to a point where you will know that you're ready. But that being said, there's definitely always pros and cons. If you're dating someone or if you're in a relationship with someone, be mindful of how that person is treating you. Yes, eating disorders and eating disorder recovery are very sensitive topics, and they can be hard to handle also for people around you. I definitely had a lot of conversations, especially with my family, around what to say, what not to say, around, how to behave when we're eating, all these kind of things. I kind of had to educate them a little bit. And of course, nobody has to listen to what you say, but if people really love and respect you, they should respect your boundaries and your wishes. So if you are with someone who does that, that's amazing. If you're with someone who makes you feel bad about it, who makes even jokes about it, or who's like, come on, just eat, that's a little red flag. And of course, sometimes people don't understand it immediately. So if the person is open to learning more, that's great. But if it continues to happen, please be careful and please step a step back, because this is not a behavior that is helpful. So I hope this video helped you, and let me know if you want to share your experiences. You can always do that down here in the comments, or you can go over to my TikTok or Instagram account. You can also find them under Heal with Marlene, and I love to see you people there as well. Feel free to comment, say hi. I'm always happy if somebody reaches out. Also, if you like this video or if it's helpful for you, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it really helps my channel to grow. And I really want to reach more people who struggle with that issue and who want to learn to get a healthier relationship with their own body. And last but not least, I currently have some coaching spots available. So if you're interested with coaching with me, please let me know. You can send me a message here. You can reach out on my website, my email address, as I just said, Instagram or TikTok, and we can figure that out. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.